Tonight, new turbulence after losing Spirit.
I woke up, everything was canceled.
All flights canceled.
Oh my God.
Yes.
First, the shutdown, now the blame game.
Spirit Airlines was at Chapter 11 twice.
The low-cost flyer crushed by debt and soaring fuel prices intensified by the Iran war. So what now?
I'm Chanel Call at Newark Liberty in New Jersey. Why Spirit's demise leaves more than stranded passengers up in the air.
Also tonight, energy shock.
I drive every day and the prices is running up too high.
I can't even, fill up my tank.
Pump prices still surging. No peace in sight, and the president ready to strike Iran again.
It's a possibility that could happen, certainly.
I'm Olivia Gazis in Doral, Florida. How President Trump is facing new political pressure as Americans absorb the costs of war in Iran, from the gas pump to the grocery aisle.
Missing Americans.
I'm Chris Livesay in Tantan, Morocco, where a training exercise turned into a rescue mission to find 2 U.S. service members.
Getting scorched. This wildfire in the West fueled by heat and drought.
I'm Carter Evans in Los Angeles. How sky-high jet fuel prices are burning through firefighting budgets, and the season is just beginning.
All that, plus an historic win at the Kentucky Derby. Why this run for the Roses is a first.
I am proud to be that person for the sport.
This is the CBS Weekend News from New York with Jerika Duncan.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday. We begin with a frightening close call at Newark Liberty International Airport. It happened today while a United Boeing 767 was landing. Take a look. The big jet came very close and low. It struck a light pole on the busy New Jersey Turnpike. The aircraft was arriving from Venice, Italy. No word right now on how many people were on board the aircraft. The FAA is investigating. Now to the shutdown of Spirit Airlines. The low-cost carrier died this weekend as it lived with lots of frustrated customers. No one picking up the phones and passengers scrambling nationwide. CBS's Chanel Call is at Newark Liberty with more on the fallout. Chanel.
Jerika, it's been a turbulent weekend for aviation here at Newark and across the country. The shutdown of Spirit Airlines, the first American airline to collapse in 25 years, causing chaos and confusion for travelers.
It's just been a mess.
Spirit Airlines passengers frustrated after all flights were abruptly canceled this weekend.
The affordableness that I was enjoying is now gone away.
This now unemployed Spirit pilot who is set to retire got a ride home in send-off from Southwest. Airline industry analyst Henry Hartefeld.
Spirit's problems were Spirit's problems. It is not endemic of the ultra-low fare airline model.
Other airlines, including rival budget carrier JetBlue, now looking to acquire some or all of Spirit's gates at its Fort Lauderdale home base in a race to win over Spirit's low-budget flyers.
Do you think it'll be sort of chopped up into pieces and sold for parts?
I think that Spirit is probably worth more dead than alive.
Why it failed? Republicans blame the Biden administration for blocking Spirit's plan to merge with JetBlue. Democrats and the airline CEO point to skyrocketing jet fuel costs. But the result? Expect to pay more to fly. Airlines now forecast to pay $24 billion more for fuel this year, some already adjusting profit expectations, others facing possible financial disaster.
Airlines that don't have large cash balances, that are operating, if you will, hand to mouth, they're the ones that are going to be the most financially challenged.
Also challenged, travelers, paying 15% more than when the war with Iran began. Some now rethinking their summer getaways.
I hope that there's another option that people will lean towards that just fits their budget.
So how bad is it? Budget carrier JetBlue has not earned a profit in 6 years. At American, which had projected a profit this year, says it could now lose money.
Jerika.
Chanel Call reporting from Newark. President Trump once said that the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran would last no longer than 6 weeks. Well, it's now in its third month. Gas prices still surging. The national average now $4.44 a gallon. That's up more than $2 a gallon since the war start. It costs the most in California, the least in Georgia. CBS's Olivia Gazes in Doral, Florida, where President Trump spent the weekend. Olivia.
Jerika, with prices climbing and the standoff with Iran dragging into its 10th week, President Trump is offering little clarity on whether the U.S. is heading for an exit or an escalation.
I don't have a choice. I have to push through it. I have to drive for my job.
Prolonged uncertainty about the war in Iran, coupled with rising energy and grocery prices, is pummeling pocketbooks and the president's polling numbers. A recent poll by the Washington Post and ABC News shows nearly 2/3 of Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy. And a majority now says taking military action in Iran was a mistake.
The average consumer is really starting to feel the pinch, anywhere from $50 to an extra $100 a month. Before this crisis hit, there were many Americans, millions of them, who were complaining about affordability.
The cost of the war itself is also surging. Sources told CBS News the Pentagon's $25 billion public estimate is likely twice as high.
But we're not leaving right now. We're going to do it so nobody has to go back in 2 years or 5 years.
And what the administration cast as a 4 to 5 week operation has now stretched twice as long, with no signs of ending. Military strikes, the president says, are still on the table.
If they misbehave, if they do something bad, but right now, we'll see. But, it's a possibility that could happen, certainly.
And rifts are widening with European allies. The president threatened to hike tariffs on EU vehicles and reduce U.S. troop presence in Germany, whose chancellor said the U.S. has been humiliated by Iranian leadership.
We're going to cut way down, and we're cutting a lot further than 5,000.
And tonight, the president announced the U.S. would begin escorting stranded neutral ships through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday, calling it a humanitarian effort and warning any interference could be met with force.
Olivia Gazes, thank you. Tonight, the search is on for 2 U.S. soldiers missing in Morocco. They're with the U.S. forces in North Africa for a training exercise. CBS's Chris Livesay is there with more. Chris.
Good evening, Jerika. It all started here at this base in southern Morocco, where we've been embedding with the U.S. military. Last night, we were in our tents when all of a sudden, officials started calling for a head count. Into the morning, we saw aircraft scouring the area where the Saharan desert meets the Atlantic Ocean. Later today, a U.S. official speaking on the condition of anonymity told us the service members were off duty when they fell off a cliff into the ocean in what's being described as a hiking accident. They emphasized it had nothing to do with the ongoing exercise we came to see, with more than 5,000 personnel from over 40 nations and a growing focus on drones, autonomous systems, and artificial intelligence. We've witnessed many of these same personnel switch from training to join the search and rescue effort. Now, defense officials have just told us, Jerika, that the missing are both in the U.S. Army. They are soldiers, and they were not engaged in the exercise at the time they went missing. Their names have not been released.
Chris Livesay, thank you so much. To Arizona now. Fire crews are battling a wildfire that's 0% contained. It's burning just west of Phoenix, with crews battling flames on the ground and from the air. So far, 300 acres have burned. Drought has fueled those flames. This as firefighting costs increase this year. CBS's Carter Evans in Los Angeles with that part of the story. Carter.
Well, good evening, Jerika. We all feel the rising fuel prices every time we fill up, but here in a community destroyed by wildfire, there is another concern. The aircraft used to fight fires like this one consume huge amounts of fuel.
When a wildfire breaks out, aircraft are often first to the scene with a critical water drop. Large air tankers like this DC-10 can carry nearly 10,000 gallons.
But it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. They can be anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 an hour up to $25,000 to $30,000 an hour for some of the larger aircraft that's out there.
And Paul Peterson, executive director of the United Aerial Firefighters Association, says the rising cost of jet fuel is making it even more expensive. It's up more than 65% in the last 2 months.
Larger aircraft, they're going to burn hundreds of gallons of jet fuel an hour. Ultimately, the taxpayers are going to pay those costs.
Last year, the U.S. Forest Service spent more than $52 million to fuel firefighting aircraft. This year, the budget is $45 million. But the agency told us aviation fuel prices will not impact our ability to respond to fires. In California, jet fuel prices have surpassed $10 a gallon at some airports. To save flight hours, CAL FIRE is training on flight simulators, and they told us aircraft are strategically placed across the state, so flight time to a fire is minimal. Keeping our aircraft in the air is a non-negotiable necessity for public safety, even when jet fuel prices are sky high.
The potential cost of not sending aircraft, the impacts to communities easily are in the hundreds of millions to billions of dollars.
And this is not just a West Coast problem. Today, wildfires are burning across the country, from Nebraska to Florida. Jerika?
Carter Evans in Los Angeles, thank you. To the weather now. It's the calm before the storm for temperatures, that is. Let's check in with CBS News meteorologist Tammy Souza with more on that. Tammy.
It has been a very busy tornado season, Jerika. Nearly 600 tornadoes this year. We have seen them coast to coast, from California to Vermont. 36 states have seen tornadoes. The very first one of the year touching down on New Year's Day, and of all places, southern Arizona. And the month of April alone, 303 tornadoes. Typically, we should see about 182 tornadoes in the month of April. Now, it's been pretty quiet so far for May, but that's about to change because we have a front that is going to drop down through the Midwest, the plains, and then head off to the Northeast. This will bring severe weather the next several days. Tomorrow, we're looking at the threat being from Chicago all the way to Kansas City. This is a wind and hail threat. That drops southward. We're going to be watching Dallas on Tuesday and into early Wednesday, and that one could include some tornadoes. The other thing that we have been watching is this weather flip-flopping. It's been cool for much of the year in the Northeast. We've been seeing warm temperatures out west. We'll see it flip-flopping back and forth for the month of May, but don't be fooled, because this is going to be a record-setting hot summer, courtesy of a strengthening El Nino in the Pacific. Jerika?
Good to know, Tammy. Thank you. This week marks 1 year since American Cardinal Robert Prevost, now Pope Leo, was elected to head the Catholic Church. And today, Pope Leo honored World Press Freedom Day in his Sunday Mass at the Vatican, paying tribute to journalists who were killed reporting in war zones. Well, straight ahead on the CBS Weekend News, America's national security, new weapons for an old front line, the star-studded sequel winning big at the box office, and the historic victory that had this horse trainer kicking for joy. This weekend, Ukraine and Russia traded deadly drone attacks, hundreds of them, in fact. This video shows a small Ukrainian low-cost drone targeting a Russian oil tanker in the Baltic Sea. At the same time, the United States is investing billions of dollars to replace weapons first built for the Cold War. CBS's Ian Lee reports from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
It's just a short helicopter ride from F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming to where hundreds of nuclear missiles lie below the surface. We got an exclusive look into a world designed to destroy worlds.
So we have 400 of them with the simple Minuteman III weapons. So there's always 400 ready to go at any given moment. There's always approximately 400
ready to go means modernizing. United States is currently replacing the 60-year-old Minuteman III with the new Sentinel missile.
There'll be 3 missiles here someday, hopefully.
Admiral Rich Carrell and General S.L. Davis are leading the operation.
It's bigger, it's faster, it has a longer range, and it can carry more payload. The Sentinel will be much more reliable.
What message does Sentinel send to America's adversaries?
For any potential adversary that would look at us and wish to do us harm, I'd want them to look at the Sentinel and say, not today.
A big undertaking as China, Russia, and North Korea advance their own nuclear programs.
For the average American, what kind of upgrade is this? Some of the upgrades are in safety and security. Some of the upgrades are with how we actually do some of these complex missile handling tasks. America will be safer. Absolutely.
On the ground at Echo 10 in eastern Wyoming, we descend into a demobilized nuclear silo in the bygone era.
For Sentinel, we're looking at a door system where you could actually walk through a door as opposed to have to crawl down on a ladder or lower.
This is a Minuteman III nuclear silo. It has been decommissioned. All this stuff will eventually go. But to give you a scale of how big these missiles are, look down in the tube. It goes down for several stories. This is a 60-foot missile. The upgrade isn't cheap. Sentinel requires new silos. The project is currently 80% over budget, costing U.S. taxpayers roughly $141 billion. And it's years behind schedule.
Critics would say, why are we spending so much money on a weapon system we never use?
We use it every single day. Deterrence is active, right? The absence of action on the part of the adversary to do us harm is employment of that system.
But that's still years away. The military hopes to roll Sentinel out completely by 2040.
The American people can be assured that we have incredible capabilities, and for the military instrument of national power, any American can sleep well at night in terms of our national security.
Ian Lee, CBS News, Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Fascinating. Still ahead on the CBS Weekend News, blame it on Rio, who had 2 million people shaking their hips this weekend. We won't lie. We'll show you.
Hello?
Well, look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
Sorry, who is this?
Gotta love that movie. That is the character Andy Sachs, played by Anne Hathaway in The Devil Wears Prada 2. It was the top movie at the weekend box office, kicking off the summer season. The blockbuster sequel earned $77 million at theaters in North America, wrapping the top three, the Michael Jackson biopic, followed by the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Britney Spears is set to be arraigned on Monday in a Ventura, California courtroom. The 44-year-old pop star was arrested in March after being pulled over in her car. She was later charged with driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Spears left voluntary rehab last week after about a 3-week stay. A big crowd this weekend on Rio de Janeiro's Copacabana Beach. An estimated 2 million people turned out for a free concert by Shakira. The Colombian superstar delivered a 30-song set that included fan favorites like, you already know, Hips Don't Lie. Shakira's show follows Madonna in 2024 and Lady Gaga in 2025. Next on the CBS Weekend News, a new first at the Kentucky Derby. But as we head to break, here's a look back at this day in history.
It's Kentucky Derby Day at Churchill Down, the 78th running of the famous classic.
Baseball finally learned about the California Gold Rush.
Britain has taken a sharp turn to the right, giving its Conservative Party the largest parliamentary majority in 13 years. And at the same time, it put into number 10 Downing Street Margaret Thatcher, the world's only woman head of government.
Take a look at this winner. Golden Tempo wears the roses after racing to victory with jockey Jose Ortiz at the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. And what a race it was. The 23-1 long shot was in last place, then charged down the stretch to beat the entire field. But that's not the only reason the race made history. Golden Tempo's trainer is a woman, the first to win the Derby. Of the more than 150,000 fans at Churchill Downs, none was more excited than Cherie DeVoe.
I'm glad that I could be a representative of all women everywhere, that we can do anything we set our minds to.
This morning, after the victory, a much more subdued horse and trainer sharing a tender moment.
Don't know if the enormity of this is really sunk in.
DeVoe comes from a large family of horsemen and started her own training stable just 8 years ago in a decidedly man's game. Only 17 women have trained a Derby horse over the past 151 years.
I had 0 horses, and then I started my first year, I think I had 12 and then 24, and then it kind of grew from there.
She's a part of history now. It's hard to even wrap your head around it today.
Monique Delk, one of the owners of Golden Tempo, believed in DeVoe from the beginning.
She's going to meet people that are going to say, I saw you do this, and you changed my thought process. You made me want to love horses.
Being an inspiration wasn't DeVoe's Derby mission, but she's already been inundated with texts and messages from girls and young women who now see what's possible.
Kentucky Derby.
I am grateful. I am proud to be that person for the sport.
A lot of long hours and a lot of hard work to get there. Congratulations. Well, that is the CBS Weekend News for this Sunday. I'm Jerika Duncan in New York. We thank you for watching. Have a great week.